The 1949 Geneva Conventions described the outline of the war prisoners' treatment and identified the responsibilities of the occupying power towards the people under occupation. The State of Israel was one of the countries that have signed these agreements, but they never treated the Palestinian prisoners according to the agreement clauses. The occupation authorities reject to consider these prisoners as prisoners of war. Instead, they use the term unlawful combatant. Ironically, they have arrested many of them from their homes or workplaces, while they are not in the status of combat of any sort. This term they are using is being used on dozens of children, women, and even elected representatives of the Palestinian legislative committees. The occupying power implement the arrests on the pretext of a national security threat, which is used here with infinite reasons that cannot be interpreted in legal terms, which leaves one to wonder whether the real reason behind this is to mortify the Palestinians and humiliate them. The occupation authorities use a series of military orders and many old laws and regulations, such as the administrative detention law, which dates back to the British Mandate over Palestine, in order to justify the illegal detentions, and they continue to extend jail periods without being given a trial. They deliberately issue new laws between the jail periods and pass it for legislation in order to increase the suffering of Palestinian prisoners unlawfully detained in prisons. All these laws are contrary to the implications of the text of the Geneva Conventions, but Israel does not apply international law when it comes to Palestinian prisoners, court verdicts, long prison sentences, and detention of Palestinians. The Israeli Supreme Court is considered the highest judicial authority in Israel, and it allows the use of torture against Palestinian detainees to extract confessions. An Israeli ministerial committee recently passed a law called Shalit, which prevents the Palestinian prisoners from meeting their families, deprives them of receiving an education, reading newspapers, and permits prison authorities to continue the solitary detention for indefinite periods. The same law also prevents these prisoners from meeting with their lawyers for 6 months straight. The Israeli prison authorities continuously violate the rights of prisoners. They allow themselves to inspect them naked and deprive them from both their lawyers and their family visits. The Israeli government recently approved law number 1650, which gives the occupation authorities the right to deport Palestinian prisoners out of their place of residence, which represents a great breach of international law and human rights. But Israel has always considered itself an above-the-law state.